come onto your belly on your mat and stack your arms on top of each other and place your forehead right onto your arms. And just take this moment to tune in to your breath. Just observe its patterns. Everyone has a different breathing pattern. So observe yours. Like, are your inhales longer than your exhales? Or are your exhales longer than your inhales? Or do you have a pretty equalized breathing pattern? This is just a moment for you to check in to see how your breath is. And as you do that, just kind of scan your body and think about coming into your mind, just your body, and into your breath. When we practice yoga, it's all about yoking those three components so that they can become one. At this time, I invite you to set an intention for your practice. And if you don't have an intention, or if you're struggling to find one, I offer you the intention of letting go. And as we explore the thought process of letting go, this is one of our first limb of yoga. One of the yamas is a parigraha, which is all about the art of letting go and possessing less. And that goes with physical things, that goes with mental ideas, our emotions, just the art of letting go. So today I want you to focus on that. Focus on a parigraha, which is the practice of letting go. You can bring your arms out into a T. So bring your arms out beside you, still lying on your belly. You can rest your left cheek on the mat. And take your right leg and bring it behind your left side of your body. And just place your toe, or if you have the flexibility to place your foot all the way down, just rest your foot and really feel that stretch in your back. Keep your left arm and shoulder onto the mat. And you can keep your right arm out beside you, or if you want a deeper stretch, you can bring it also behind you as well. Hold it and release, and switch your cheeks and rest your right cheek onto your mat. Arms still out beside you. Take your left leg or foot and place it behind your body, your right side of your body. Again, you can just press your toe into the mat, or if you have the flexibility to place your foot all the way down, wherever you are in your practice. One more breath. And release. Bring your arms beside you, elbows into your midline, and lift your chest slightly, Sphinx pose. And just really lift up, keeping your hands all the way to your elbows, planted into the mat, and really press firmly down and lift your chest towards the front of the room. And release. And we're going to do that one more time. Press into your mat and lift your chest towards the top of the room. You can lower your head back slightly. And release, come down. come up into tabletop. Onto all fours, stack your hips over your knees and your shoulders over your wrist. And just create some movement here. So sit back to the right heel, move over to the left. Press yourself forward into your wrist. Give yourself a nice little stretch. And just make a circular motion going from your right heel to your left heel. Press your body up towards the front of the room, circle, and just do that motion. And just create a movement within your body. You can get creative here. Just do what your body is telling you to do here. If you want to switch and rotate your body, go back from the left to the right. Press your body forward. Really creating some movement within our body, getting it warmed up. And just feel what your body wants to express here. Come back to neutral. We're going to do cat and cow. Inhale, lift your chest and head up towards the sky. Exhale, press your chin into your chest and contract your body. And just do a couple of movements of cat and cow at your pace, at your breath. Inhale, cat, taking your drishti up to the sky. Exhale, cow, contracting your body in, pressing your shoulders away from your body. And continue one more of cat and cow. Inhale, exhale, and come back to neutral. And tuck your toes. Downward facing dog. Press your hips toward the sky and press down your heels into the mat and melt your chest towards your thighs. Ground down into the mat, like press firmly, and really feel the stretch here. Know that this is home base. You can find this pose to be a resting pose at any time, or if you find at any moment that downward facing dog is too much, you can always come back to child's pose. Inhale, press up on your toes. Exhale, press your heels into the mat. Again, inhale, press up on your toes. Exhale, press your heels into the mat. One more time. Inhale, press up on your toes. Exhale, press your heels firmly into the mat. It's okay if they don't touch all the way. And on your next inhale, tippy toe your feet to your hands, forward fold. You can sway side to side here. You can bring your hands to ragdoll, opposite hand to opposite elbows. Many variations and opportunities to explore here. If you want to bring your arms behind you and interlace your fingers. Drop the crown of your head towards the mat and melt your chest towards your thighs. You can bring a micro bend into your knees. And let this pose be what it needs to be for you. A couple more breaths here. You can find some movement in your legs. Heel toe your feet together. On your next inhale, Tadasana, mountain pose. Sweep your fingertips towards the sky. Give yourself a nice back bend of your back. Keep your hands facing the sky. Exhale, bring your arms to goal post. Press your shoulder blades into your spine. Inhale, swan dive, forward fold. Drop the crown of your head towards the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Press your hands into your shins. create a neutral spine from the crown of your head to the tailbone of your back. Exhale, high plank. Stack your shoulders over your wrists and your heels over your toes. And create a solid foundation here. And I'm going to give you an option to do your regular vinyasa of chaturanga flow, or you can opt to take our alternative vinyasa, which is, follow along with me, knees to chest to chin, upward facing dog or baby cobra. Bring your shoulder blades into your spine. Lengthen your thoracic spine. Come back into tabletop. Stack your hips over your knees. Tuck your toes here and press all the way back into child's pose. You can sit in this for a couple breaths and then press up into downward facing dog. So at any time that we hit our flow, you have options to do our alternative vinyasa or your regular vinyasa. Or if you think vinyasa is too much, you always have the opportunity to just meet us back in downward facing dog. So one more breath here. And we're just going to take that slow flow a couple of times. On your next inhale, step or hop to the top of your mat. Halfway lift, really feel it. Forward fold, press the crown of your head towards the mat. Inhale, Tadasana mountain pose. Reach your fingertip towards the sky. You can interlace your fingers and create a nice back bend. Press your hips or pelvis towards the front of the room. Exhale, goal post your arms. Press your shoulder blades into your spine and press them into your body. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. And take your flow. Alternative flow, knee to chest to chin. Upward facing dog or baby cobra. Exhale into tabletop. Tuck your toes here. Continue to go back into child's pose. Melt into the mat. Press up into downward facing dog. You can walk your dog out here. Pedal your legs. Press your chest towards your thighs. On our next inhale, step or hop to the top of your mat. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Tadasana, mountain pose. Reach your fingertips towards the sky. Lower slightly into a mini back bend, standing. Go post your arms. Swan dive, forward fold. Halfway lift. And vinyasa, take your flow. Flow like water. Alternative, knees to chest to chin. Upward facing dog or baby cobra. Back into tabletop. Tuck your toes. Sit all the way back into child's pose. And press yourself up into downward facing dog. Take 2 cleansing breaths here. And we're going to do our slow flow one more time. On your next inhale, step or hop to the top of your mat. Halfway lift. Go with your breath, your flow. Forward fold. Tadasana, mountain pose. Stretch your fingertips towards the sky. slight back bend. Press your pelvis towards the front of the room. Come back to neutral. Arms into goalpost or cactus. Lift your elbows in line with your shoulders. Swan dive into forward fold. Press your chest towards your thighs. Halfway lift. Create a neutral spine from your crown of your head to your tailbone. And take your flow. Knees to chest to chin. Upward facing dog or baby cobra. Press back into tabletop. Stack your hips over your knees. Come up on your toes. Sit back into child's pose. And press up into downward facing dog. You can pedal your legs out here. Take a couple breaths. On your next inhale, lengthen through your spine and take your right hand on the outside of your left ankle or shin, wherever you can reach, for a nice little twist. One more breath. And release. Come back to neutral, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, lengthen through your spine and take your left hand on the outside of your right ankle or shin, wherever you can reach. Feel a nice little stretch. You can take your drishti or your gaze underneath your right arm. One more breath. And release. Come back to center, ground down into the mat. On your next inhale, bring your feet to touch in the back. Three-legged dog, right side. Press your right heel up towards the sky. And take your heel towards your glute. Really try to reach it as far as you can to really create an open hip. Keep your chest neutral. Press towards the mat. On your next inhale, take your right foot to your right hand for low lunge. Low crescent lunge. So that means bring your knee to the ground. Keep your hands planted here and really press forward into your left hip. Feel the stretch there. And we're going to keep your left hand planted and reach your right hand towards the sky for a nice little stretch here. And feel it. And release. Plant your right hand into the mat and lift your left hand towards the sky. You're going to create a flow of right hand towards the sky, left hand planted. Exhale, release, right hand on the ground, left hand towards the sky. One more of those motions. Right hand towards the sky, left hand onto the mat. And release, right hand onto the mat, left hand towards the sky. Release, plant both hands into the mat. And sit back into runner split. Press your front leg straight, flex your heel, and sit back onto your back heel. Feel that stretch in your hamstring. And release, press back forward. Tuck your back toe and lift your knee off the mat. And take your flow here. Remember, you could do chaturanga to upward facing dog to downward facing dog, or you can do our slow flow, which is knee to chest to chin, upward facing dog or baby cobra. Remember, go at your pace, your breath, tabletop, back to child's pose, all the way to downward facing dog. Again, if those vinyasas don't work for you, you are more than welcome to meet back in downward facing dog. This is your practice, and it's important for us to know and honor our bodies and what it needs. On your next inhale, bring your feet to touch in the back of your mat, three-legged dog, left side. Lift the left heel towards the sky. Keep your hips square on the ground, your hips and your chest. It's okay if your foot doesn't go super high. And then kick your heel towards your glute. Try to reach it as far as you can. Create a really nice opening in your hip. And on your next inhale, step your left foot to your left hand for low crescent lunge, left side. Low crescent lunge means knee on the ground. Keep your hands planted down here. Really press into your right hip. Create a nice stretch there. And we're going to do the same thing we did on the opposite side. Keep your right hand planted into the ground and reach your left hand towards the sky. Exhale, release. Plant your left hand onto the ground, right hand towards the sky. Exhale, release. Inhale, left hand towards the sky. Exhale, release. Plant your left hand into the mat, right hand towards the sky. Inhale. Exhale, release. Left hand towards the sky. Release. And last side, right arm towards the sky. And release. Come back to neutral. Press into your right hip. Inhale, and on your next exhale, press into runner split, left side. So press your hips towards your back heel and straighten out your front leg with your foot flexed. And really feel the stretch in your hamstring here. Beautiful. Tuck your toe here. If it's not tucked already, lift your knee off the mat. And take your flow. Take your other leg back. Knee to chest to chin. Upward facing dog or baby cobra. Press back into tabletop. Tuck your toes. Sit all the way back into child's pose. Really melt into this pose. You can stay here just for a second and meet me back in downward facing dog. When we do a slow flow, it's not so much about the strength. It's more about really taking the time to really sit and feel the pose a little bit longer than you would in a normal vinyasa style class. So really take the opportunity to feel that pose. It's no rush here. Take a couple breaths. On your next inhale, warrior 2, step your right foot to your right hand. And pivot your back foot to 12 o'clock, press down through the blade edge of your back foot, and stretch one hand to the front and one hand towards the back. Stack your right knee over your right ankle and really become a warrior and really stand strong and firm in this pose. And then once you're there, kind of soften your muscles. Find that Sthira Sukham Asanam. So find that effort and ease between being strong and just being gentle. Inhale. On your next exhale, come into triangle pose. Straighten your front knee out. Press your right hand into the mat or into a block and reach your left hand towards the sky. Really feel the stretch here. And just feel it and hold it. One more breath. On your next exhale, switch and plant your left hand into the mat, twisted triangle. Reach your right hand towards the sky. Remember, you can use a block here. Really feel that twist in your body. And release, come into warrior two. Spin your front arm to the front, back arm to the back of the room. And take your flow. Plant your hands into the mat. Come back into high plank. Knee to chest to chin. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Or tabletop, then child's pose down dog. Whichever flow you're taking. And just take a breath or two back here. And really take deep breaths here. Really feel and just let it sigh. Just kind of let it sigh out. Those deep breaths feel the best, honestly. Just letting it go. On your next inhale, reach your left foot to your left hand, warrior two, left side. Extend your front arm towards the front of the room, your back arm towards the back. Pivot your back foot to 12 o'clock to the side of your mat. Ground down through all four corners of your feet. And press into your front knee, stacking your knee over your ankle. And find Sthira Sukham Asanam. So find strength in this pose, but then find the gentleness as well. So extend all of the energy you can, and then soften your joints. Really feel it. On your next inhale, release and come into triangle pose. Straighten your front leg out. Plant your left hand onto the mat or to the block or into your ankle and reach your right arm towards the sky. Peel your back hip open. Make sure it's not facing downward. You want to really open your hip. And breathe here. Couple breaths. Again, one more breath. On your next inhale and your next exhale, switch into twisted triangle. Plant your right hand into the mat. Reach your left hand towards the sky. And really feel the twist here. Pull in through the pit of your belly. twist deeper. On your next exhale, twist back into warrior two. And release. Take your flow. Come back into high plank. You can do your regular vinyasa or knee to chest to chin. Upward facing dog or baby cobra. Press your shoulder blades into your spine. Press back into tabletop. Tuck your toes. Sit back into child's pose. And downward facing dog. Press your hips towards the sky. Melt your chest towards the mat. And just take one more breath here. On your next inhale, take your right foot and come into half pigeon, right side. Take your shin parallel to the front of your mat as much as possible. Ground down through the back leg and the top of your back foot. Really sit up in this pose. Press your shoulder blades into your spine. Create your foundation here. Pull in through the pit of your belly and fold deep. You can use a mat here under your chest, or you can place one under your back hip. Just wherever you feel like you could use support, take the support. And once you melt into the pose, release the tension and the stress and just soften all of your joints here. And just let go. Let go of the will and desire to push back. And just allow your body to take what it needs from this pose. Come back to that intention you set at the beginning of class, or the intention that I offered about just letting go. A couple more breaths. Press yourself up onto your hands. Pull your shoulder blades into your spine. Tuck your toes and press back into downward facing dog. Go ahead and pedal your feet out, walk your dog. Really press your hips towards your thighs. On your next inhale, half pigeon left side. Take your left foot to the front of your mat, your left shin, and place it parallel or as close to parallel as possible. Keep your hips neutral and squared to the front. Really press up into the mat. Press your shoulder blades into your spine. Pull the pit of your belly in and up. And fold deep. Once you're in this pose, release the tension, soften your muscles and all of your joints, and just let go. of times we find ourselves holding on to either negative thoughts or, emotions that just aren't serving us well. And that's when we have to find ourselves and practice aparigraha, just the act and the art of letting go of those things, letting go of anything and all things that don't serve us in a positive and beneficial light. That can include people, jobs. We have to learn to find and know the physical things and the non-physical things that don't serve us. Release, press up on your hands, press your shoulders into your spine, down and back. Press back into downward facing dog. Walk your dog out here. Take 2 cleansing breaths here. Stretch it out. Move your body in whatever way that your body is telling you to move and that feels good to you. On your next inhale and your next exhale, drop to tabletop position. Tuck your toes. And then find your way to your bottom. And bring your legs out in front of you for seated tree pose, right side. Take your right foot on the inner thigh of your left leg. Reach your fingertips towards the sky. Really bring energy and intention through your fingers. Pull the pit of your belly in and up. Exhale, release, and fold deep. Remember when we talk about our breathing, our inhales represent or indicate a lengthening of our spine, an opportunity to find space. And then our exhales are for when we contract and fold deeper into a pose. So keep that in mind when you're wondering, when do I inhale and when do I exhale? And release, sit up. Seated tree, left side. Take your left foot to your inner thigh of your right leg. And inhale, reach your fingertips towards the sky. Again, just really lengthening through your spine, bringing intention into your fingertips. Pull the pit of your belly in and up. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Really press your chest towards your thighs. You can plant your hands beside on your mat. You can plant your hands on your shin. If you can reach your ankles, beautiful. Wherever you are, know that you are in the right spot. Yoga is not a competition. It's truly about what your own body needs, and you meet your body where it's at. So wherever you are today, embrace it and love it. A couple more breaths here. One more inhale and exhale. Release, sit up. Inhale, reach your fingertips towards the sky. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. And release, come into fish pose. So extend your legs long in front of you. This is an opportunity. It's really supported fish. So if you have your blocks, go ahead and take one block long ways and place it between your shoulder blades. And you can take an extra block and rest it under your head. If you don't have a block, you can just gently allow your head to flow back and just open up your throat here. And allow your shoulder blades to just peel over over the block and just let go and melt into this pose. If you find yourself coming back to the thoughts of, oh, I have to do this after this yoga session, I got to email this person, I got to do this, I got to do that, come back to your intention. It's okay. We're human. Our minds do wander. But just take this time for yourself and just let go of those worries, because they aren't right now. Right now we're here and we're in our body, our mind, and our breath. So bring your attention to your breath, or bring your attention to the intention that you set at the beginning of class. And release. Press yourself up. Tuck your chin first and then press yourself up. And come onto your knees for camel pose. Stack your hips over your knees and place your hands on your low back. Press your shoulder blades and elbows into your midline and just fold backwards. Just press your hips towards the front of the room and open your chest and your throat. And just receive all good things, anything that's good and out there waiting for it to be given to you. One more inhale. And release. Tuck your chin. We're going to do that pose once more. Option to take it deeper. I know some of us are a little more flexible than others, and that's okay. Our bodies are different. Mechanics are different. Again, meet yourself where you are. Option to grab your ankles here. You can grab one ankle, you can grab another, and release. Press your hips toward the front of the room. Open your chest and your shoulder blades and your throat, and just grab and just take in anything that's out there in the world, any opportunities that you're wanting, and just receive it. 2 more breaths. Tuck your chin and release. Come back onto your bottom. We're going to do waterfall or any inversion of your choice. Remember, do what your body needs. Do what feels good for you. Waterfall is a nice, relaxing pose. So you can take a block underneath your low back and just extend your feet towards the sky. You can bring energy and power into your legs, but then once you get there and you find your spot, release that tension, release the trying, and just soften all your joints and just let this pose be what it needs to be for you. all too many times we go into situations, whether it be a pose or just life, and we go into it with these expectations of what we need to get out of it, when if we let go of those expectations, then I believe that the opportunities for what can happen then become infinite, because then you just allow what is to happen. So let go of any expectations that you hold in your life and just let things unfold the way they are meant to unfold. Again, back to that aparigraha, just letting go of so many things that just don't serve us, because oftentimes expectations don't serve us. I know for a fact I've allowed expectations to just create a lot of unnecessary discomfort in me, and you know, it's not the best feeling. So just let go and learn to allow things to flow as they should. A couple more breaths here. So if anything you take from your yoga practice today is just knowing the art of letting go. Aparigraha, take that into your life, because yoga doesn't just end when you leave your mat. You want to really make sure you're taking the principles and those lessons back into your everyday world and use those tools. And release, remove any blocks that you have, and hug your knees into your body. Give yourself a nice squeeze. Show yourself some love. Self-love is the best love. Really hug yourself and come into happy baby. Grab the outside of your feet. Just give yourself a nice little sway side to side. Give your a nice low back massage. Do what your body needs here. You can straighten one leg, really feel the stretch. You can straighten another leg. If you want to go both legs, do whatever your body needs. Because again, this is your practice, and you know your body better than anybody. Don't ever let someone tell you you don't know your body. You live in this body every day. You know what feels good to you and what does not. And if something doesn't feel good, don't do it. And release. Bring your legs out long in front of you. And bring your right knee into your chest. We're going to come into supine twist. Drop your knee over to the left side of your mat. Take your gaze and your right arm out to the opposite side. Pull in through the pit of your belly. Pull the navel towards your spine, so that you can really feel and twist deeper. And release your right leg down and out, and pull your left leg into your chest, your left knee. Squeeze it in, and supine twist left side. Take your left knee over to the right side of your body. Take your gaze and your left arm out to the opposite side. And melt into this pose. Really feel the stretch. breath. And release. Come back to center. Hug. Bring both of your knees back into your chest. Give yourself a nice little squeeze. Hug it out. Hug them in. And we're going to do supine twist on the right side. Both knees this time. So take both knees to the right side of your mat. To the right side of your mat. Take your gaze to the left. This way we feel it a little deeper. And release. Bring both knees back to center and supine twist to the left. Take your knees to the left side of your body. Take your gaze to the right. Gaze in your arm. And release. And come into Supta Baddha Konasana. Bring the soles of your feet to touch. Let your knees fall wide onto your mat. You can use blocks here to prop under your knees if you'd like. An option to just stay here or come into Shavasana. You have the option to go to either one of those places for our deep rest. This is where we close our practice out, or our asana practice out. So take a moment to just go into a deep rest where you release anything left over that you haven't released yet, and just be in the now, be here, and just focus on your breath. Start to wiggle your toes, your fingertips, roll your ankles and your wrists, and just bring life back into your limbs. Awaken them back up. Stretch your hands to the back of your mat and give yourself a nice big stretch. Just kind of reawakening your body. Roll over to your favorite side into fetal position. And just take this moment to thank yourself for showing up today for this practice. Thank yourself for being open to the possibility of living by one of yoga's limbs, aparigraha, and to just the art of letting go. Just even the thought of like being open to that leaves room for so many possibilities. And thank you for sharing this practice with me. Go ahead and bring yourself up to a seated position, comfortable seated position. On your next inhale, reach your fingertips towards the sky. Bring your hands to heart center. And we're going to do a breathing exercise briefly before we go to just bring life back into our body, because our breath is the most important force in our body. It's the first thing we do when we enter the world. It's the last thing we do when we leave the world. So we're going to do what we call a box breath. And it's when you inhale for the same amount, you hold it at the top, so that's retention for the same amount. You exhale for the same amount, and then you hold that empty space before inhaling again. So we're going to just go with a simple 3-breath pattern. So inhale for 3, 1, 2, 3. Hold it, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Hold, 1, 2, 3. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Hold it, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Hold, 1, 2, 3. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. And you find that pattern for yourself. 2, 3. Hold, 1, 2, 3. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to let you go off on it. And one more cycle of that. And once you've finished, take one big inhale and exhale, sigh it out. That breath just kind of stabilizes and just brings us back to a homeostasis state. All right, so let's take one more big inhale. Reach your fingertips towards the sky. Bring energy and intention to your fingertips. And exhale, release. Bring your hands to heart center. And I just want to thank you all for sharing your practice with me today, because one thing that I want you to leave with knowing is that yoga is your practice. It is all about you, and you take what you need from that practice. And don't ever allow anyone to make you feel like you should be at a specific place in this practice, because it's all unique and individual to a specific person. So with that being said, thank you. Know that you are loved, and that today you have the power to let go of anything that does not serve you. Bring your hands to your forehead or to your third eye chakra, and know that the light in me sees and honors the light in each and every one of you. Thank you.